guys, I thought I would do a step-by-step on how I did this Hobo hotel. So first thing I did is I kind of made a pattern of where I wanted it to go with just cardboard or construction paper, and I'm transferring that onto 3-inch foam, which I'll cut out here on the hot wire cutter, but you could use a X-Acto knife or even a jab saw for like drywall. Okay, so after I got the basic shape of it, I just wanted to start to kind of make it look more like a mountain and cutout scene. So I'm just kind of taking the edge off and I'll start shaping it to what I wanted it to look like for in that corner of the layout that I showed. Alright, so then I have this old Lionel Caboose that I found, and I took it apart and I'm just tracing it out. I wanted to make it look like it's been sitting for a long time and kind of sunk into the ground, so I'm cutting the foam out where I marked it, and this will basically be where the hobos are sleeping and stuff. I'm gonna just kind of plant it into the foam. Alright, so you can see I got it kind of set in there nice and tight. The next thing was I wanted to kind of make it look like they carved some steps into the hillside to get up there a little bit easier. So I just took a razor blade and cut into the foam, making small steps the whole way up. Alright, so after I got the steps cut in, I take a drywall jab saw and I just kind of carve at it different directions, and this is how I'm getting my stone face ledge type look. I just kind of go multiple different ways, kind of be aggressive with it and get some grooves and pop some foam out to kind of make it look like chunks of rock. Alright, so now that I got it kind of carved to what I wanted, I painted the base layer with just black acrylic paints, the cheap paints you can get at Walmart for like $1. And I basically covered the whole thing just to get a black coat on everything, and then I'll slowly add different colors to it. Alright, so after I got the black coat on, I'm just starting to add different colors of gray, kind of doing like a light dry brush over everything, different directions, just to kind of highlight the highs and the lows. With having the black undercoat, it kind of gives you more depth. Alright, so here you can kind of see I used this graphite for basically my main color over everything, and it seemed to work out pretty nice. And I painted the top of it with just a green acrylic that I had just to kind of help with coverage for when I start adding static grass. Alright, so the next step is I wanted to make this caboose look like it's been sitting and basically abandoned. So I'm just going over the whole thing with a brown wash. I mixed brown acrylic paint with just a little bit of water just to kind of make it flow out. And I did a couple coats of this, would do a coat, let it dry, then I'd come back. And I tried to go basically the way water would hit and run off of it, so it kind of looks like just streaking. Alright, so this is basically after 3 coats of the wash. I kind of got it where I wanted to, and now I'm just saying about how I want to make it look like they busted into it to get in. So, like the doors were stuck and they couldn't get in, so they broke the wood side. So here I'm taking this is an engraver tool that I bought at, I think, Walmart. Comes with a whole bunch of different heads, and I just put the knife blade in it, and it heats it up and kind of melts through plastic, so I was able to kind of make it look like it was broken sheathing on the side of the caboose. And then I'll clean that up a little bit, and I painted the inside of the caboose black just to kind of hide the plastic. Alright, and then the next step is I took balsa wood and I glued it to the inside over the windows, basically to just look like the windows were busted out. They didn't want people in there, so they blocked them over with wood. And I'm just test fitting it in the location that I have cut out for it. Alright, so the next thing is I use this reindeer moss, I think is what they call it. You can get it at like Michael's in different colors. It's basically for like in the bottom of flower pots, like fake flowers. And I take this and just kind of use the tacky glue and put it in some of the like the grooves and stuff that I carved into it, just to kind of make it look like growth on the side of the rocks and stuff. And I think it brings a little bit of life to the foam and the stone to make it look a little bit better, add a little bit of color. So I just kind of randomly pick colors and spots to put it until I like the way it looked. Alright, now the next step is I have some of this woodland scenic brown ballast from my pond scene, and I thought I'm just going to kind of add that basically where they would be walking in and out and hanging out. So I just used Elmer's glue and kind of spread it out where I think it's going to be. I spread it on and let it dry. Alright, now the next step, same deal. I spread out Elmer's glue and I'm just putting static grass down on the top, the flat areas of the foam mountain that I built here. And I think it brings a little bit of life to it. Now, I thought I wanted to kind of make it look like this caboose was grown over. So I'm using tacky glue, and I kind of took some of that reindeer moss that I showed earlier, and I kind of broke it up. And I'm just putting it on the thing to give it like a vine look. And after that, I used some of my pine trees. If you guys have seen my video on how to get cheap pine trees, that's where these are from. And I'm just adding it to make it look like this thing's been here for 40, 50 years, just kind of basically forgotten about and turned into the Hobo Hotel. And after I got all the trees put in, I kind of wanted to make a makeshift canopy for them to stay out of the water or rain and stuff. So I took metal wire and ran it around the tree and back to the caboose. And here I'm taking a baby wipe that was mixed with 50% Elmer's glue, 50% water, dipped it in there, kind of squeeged it out just to get as much out as I could. And I'm going to set it over top of that wire just to kind of make it look like it's a tarp that they hung with some rope. And I'll let that dry and paint it. And then I took straws from like milkshakes, and I'm making them look like burn barrels. So I'm just kind of melting some holes into it. And I'll put flickering LED lights in here, as you'll see in the next clip, but paint them brown and just make them look like rusty barrels with flickering lights. Alright, like I said, after I get these painted, I'll place them, put a little bit of tacky glue on them, and I set them there with the flickering lights in the barrels. And then I added some woodland scenic hobo people, and it's basically the finished product. So I hope you guys enjoy it and maybe give you some inspiration on building a scene for your layout. Thanks for watching.